I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength to face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for.
All right, we're all zoomed into the corner. Robbie, you're gonna go up in the corner right there.
It's all about Robbie today.
All right, totally no technical difficulties or anything. Hey, hopefully
No.
you could see and hear us all good. But hey, welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio Dynamite recap in the upper left-hand
You
corner.
can't see my face. I love this.
Oh man,
It's just
Well-
Robbie for the next hour, guys. That's
welcome
what
to the
you're gonna
Robbie Show.
see.
Bring it on.
I'll just pop myself up there. We'll pop up whoever's talking. We'll make do.
Oh my
Uh,
god, we're doing it this way? I'm scared.
We'll figure this out. I'll do whatever it takes to get us
Nick to the
going on here.
rescue.
But hey, thank you for joining us. This is another episode of AEW Dynamite. Your boys from Dirt Sheet Radio are here. It is Nefarious Neek, one of the founders of Dirt Sheet Radio and OG, and I am here with some other OGs. Caesar, you're one of the OGs. Introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey,
There you go. Into the corner you go.
This is so weird. I'll get into it. How's it going, guys?
We're
I'm
gonna make this
Caesar.
work, baby.
I'll be hanging out on one of the sides and talking with our beloved Neek off to whichever side he's on this week. But we also have our other friend Robbie. Okay, switch spots with me. Tag in. Your turn.
I like the tag-in philosophy we got going.
Perfect. Now
I don't know what's going on.
Hi.
What's going
Whoa!
on here?
What is this, Sports Center? Okay, what Sports Center is this thing up here in Canada we have. But Robbie.
I'm curious if it's like that
Alrighty.
everywhere else.
After hitting the hot tag, it's your boy Robbie here. We are back once again for a wonderful AEW Dynamite on Super Bowl week for people who watch American football around this wonderful nation. And
Yes, it is.
Yep. And also, we've gotten an amazing Dynamite to go over tonight as well.
All right, gonna tag myself in here. I can't switch us anymore. Oh no. All right, there we go. All right, the system is completely breaking apart on me. I can't.
This
do
is
anything.
great.
All right, technical difficulties, but hey, we're gonna make do like we said. And you know what? guys, that main event, chef's kiss, top notch. We had Swerve Strickland taking on Ricochet, and we just started off with a bang, literally. Ricochet does the run up in there, and then bam, with a steel chair, getting a little bit of payback for what Prince Nana did to him a few weeks ago. And that led us right into a great main event. We saw a lot of things, such as Ricochet getting absolutely obliterated spinal cord and everything onto that railing. Somehow they kept their balance. Shout out to that. On top of that, we also had some moments like the crowd chanting, making sure that Ricochet knew how bald he truly was. And guys, I had a lot of fun with this main event, but I want to throw it your way. What did you guys think? Robbie?
That was a fun main event. Honestly, I was kind of shocked. So usually when we throw like big feuds in Swerve's way, usually Swerve is getting the one with the upper hand. But the fact that Ricochet won that match, but however though, it was a dirty way he won by blocking the Swerve stomp with his hands right into his groin, which obviously that's a low blow in wrestling terms, but otherwise, fun match. We had midair drop kicks as well. I have never seen a power bomb on a barricade like that ever in my life, by the way. I had never seen that in all the years I've watched professional wrestling. That spot was pretty damn cool. And everything else, too, this storyline is starting to come together a lot nicely. Now we went through that shocking win between Ricochet and winning Swerve, and then now we got Revolution around the corner. We know Swerve is going to come back, especially because he took that jacket that meant a lot to Swerve from his embassy days as well. So can't wait to see where it's going next on this. It's only going to get better and more lit as well, because we know what dark side Swerve can have as well. Caesar?
Okay, I do agree with you guys on the whole thing about balancing and that brutal power bomb on the spine, but how many different chants did they do tonight for that match? There were a few different chants, from the obvious ones to the bald ones. My question is, if hold on, if Ricochet is bald,
Oh,
okay,
no.
hold on, hear me. People can't, you guys can't see our friends, but there are three of us. It's not just me on the stream, guys. If Ricochet is bald, what the hell is Don Callis? Right?
Scarred.
Okay, fine. Scarred. But all in all, it was a cool match. I don't understand how that ending was though. Like it, I know he had his hands. Like I thought the referee would have just right to the just went straight and said, "Listen, DQ because you hit him in the lower regions, as they would call it. The family jewels." But all in all, I do agree. We're gonna see another match. Hell, maybe at Grand Slam, or would that be too soon? I wonder. Would that be too soon?
Next Saturday, so maybe too soon. They might rate it out to Revolution at that point.
I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, Revolution would be a perfect time to do it. That's long enough. Like what, 3 weeks? No,
Yeah.
something like that. I can't math. It's late here.
It's about a
I
month.
mean, yeah. So that's perfect. Give it a month. Let them screw around, and then let him be bald. Sorry, bald. And then let's go off on it at Revolution. Because how many matches do they have for Grand Slam now? 5? A few, don't they?
5 or 6, and not just enough to cover 2 hours.
Yeah, that would be. We don't want to squash that match then. So I think you guys are right. Well, let's save it for Evolution and just stay bald until further notice. I mean, I don't know how that feels, but
I know. Imagine being bald. I mean, looking right now at the Grand Slam Australia card, we got 4 matches lined up. Mariah May defends the women's championship up against Timeless Toni Storm. We're going to talk a lot more about that later. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega take on the Don
Ospreay.
Callis families, Fletcher and Takeshita. We're going to have Continental Championship, that Continental crown on the line as the champion Okada defends against Buddy Matthews from the Hellhounds. And then Jay White and Cope are going to take on the Death Riders in a Brisbane brawl. So you got some stuff lining up there. Looking not too shabby. February 15th. Hopefully,
day after Valentine's Day.
Yes. So go and watch it with your significant other. Get her into the Grand Slam.
If she says no, or he says no to watching it with you, break up right now. Or start seeing them. I don't know. Take your pick. But like Nick said, watch with your significant other.
Yes. And a reminder, too, for those who don't know, since it's in Australia,
woo!
The show time for next Saturday for people on the east coast of America or east side of Canada, where you're from, It will be at 10:30 p.m. right after the NBA All-Stars Celebrity Game. West Coast will be 7:30 p.m. as well.
I'm glad you
So it is
clarified,
going to be a
Robbie.
tape show. Go ahead and stay away from the spoilers because we know some people on the dirt sheets
Hey,
might go and spoil it.
so question. I heard them say, I'll see you next Tuesday. So my question is the Dynamite next week on a Tuesday? Are we turning up on a
I
Tuesday?
I think it was just a mistake.
Okay, I was excited. We're gonna have like 6 hours of DSR on a Tuesday or 4
Tuesday.
hours. Tuesday.
Hey, it's been a while since NXT and AEW went head to head.
I don't know. We do
It's been
better
a hot
usually.
minute.
So, but no,
That
I'm
is true.
excited. You can just do that randomly, Nick. Just switch people randomly without even like picking.
I can just kind of no, I'm just kind of
Do
like
it.
swapping, but everyone's just
I was,
sort of.
I was
It's
getting, I
hard
was
when we're
getting,
all like shooting stuff in there.
I was
We're just
getting the
packing.
DVD screensaver vibe. I got excited.
It feels like that when I'm kind of like shifting my cursor around. For those of you who are just joining us, we're having some very amazing technical issues. Usually, you see all three of us on screen, but I'm just kind of shifting
Oh,
us where we
Nick,
need to.
Nick's mad at us. He wants it to be about himself today, guys. That's
Hey,
just
I mean, if it's like a
It's
unique
a neat
show,
show, man.
hey, what's wrong
we were.
with that? Give the fans what they want. But hey,
They
speaking of
want
giving the
the
fans,
news.
you know what they do want? They want more AEW Dynamite. So thank you for joining
Hey,
us. And
Dynamite.
Dynamite. And when we look at it, AEW Dynamite's on number 279. The last
Ooh.
episode of Nitro was 286. So it's quickly approaching.
So,
Soon,
so
in
are we
only
gonna
a few
celebrate?
weeks.
Are we gonna celebrate that day then, or what? We're gonna have some. We're gonna
Yeah.
drink some cappuccino on stream to celebrate. I'm down.
Ooh, yeah, cappuccino. I got myself a nice
Yeah.
red solo cup. You know what I put in this? You know what hard stuff I put in here?
Water.
Just regular old iced tea, baby.
I ain't gonna
Dude,
show
calm
logo, but I got
down.
CM Punk's favorite drink.
Calm down, Neek. I got cappuccino. Robbie's got Pepsi. You got
And
iced tea.
gonna pop out some of those Flintstones
Holy,
chewable
this man's
vitamins.
a rebel.
Ooh, the
Only
sex
place you can find
boy.
him is on DSR though.
Yes. The real rebels are here on DSR, baby, and we're
We
gonna
don't got hand
go.
signals, do we? Do we have
We
hand
can
No,
signals?
but
talk
we,
about
we
no
do
Death Loop.
have is the very start of the show. We're going to kick it off right to the very tippity top of the show where we talk all about that introduction. We had tensions running high as Jay White was getting interviewed outside of the arena by Renee Paquette. And of course, he was talking about the Death Riders. And just like Joe Hendry, you say their name and they will appear. Death Riders walk up. But hey, guess what? Jay White's not alone. He's smart. He's onto their game. You had Cope, you had FTR, and it was just a fight. Marina Shafir runs in there to quickly swoop up and kidnap Renee Paquette.
Yeah.
Shout out to Harley for rescuing her later, and of course the puppet Monet. But yeah, it was just a fight. It was a brawl. It was, as they say in the AE dubs, it was all in. And
Whew.
guys, yeah, it was a fight. Cope isn't the only one that had a challenge for Moxley, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm really looking forward to the idea of Cope and Jay White as a team. What say you, fellas?
It'll be interesting, that's for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's their first time as a tag team, hey? Because I don't think he's ever wrestled with Jay White. So, hey, Saturday. Sorry, not this Saturday. Next Saturday, after Valentine's Day, they can go with their others and then hang out with each other down under.
Exactly, Robbie.
And then for me, like the thought of having Jay White and Adam Copeland or Cope teaming up in 2025, who would have thought that we even would see Jay White and Adam team up in 2025? As
Right?
y'all mentioned, this is the first time they're teaming up. Cope coming back from that triple fusion neck surgery back in 2020 to jumping into now. I think this is gonna be fun. I know this is their first time teaming, but you got a tag team specialist in Adam Copeland in that match. How many tag team titles has he won in the WWE?
Yes.
It's more than count at this point. So I cannot wait to see those two take on Claudio and John Moxley in the Brisbane Brawl. We know it's going to get bloody. No pun intended there. But I'm excited to see what happens. Honestly, I have all the faith in the world that Adam and Jay are going to be a great team together.
For sure. And you got two absolute goats right there taking on two other goats. So it's going to be a awesome match to see. And hey, speaking of goats, he had the Continental Championship match pretty much getting confirmed and announced for Grand Slam. And we followed that up with a very neat surprise. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing the Don Callis family enjoying their dinners together. And there's another fifth place. There's that fifth plate right there when it comes to the wrestling side of the table. And we were all wondering who it was. I know Twitter was just going crazy when it came down to the rumors and innuendos.
Imagine.
A lot of people were thinking Trent Beretta. I'm sure there were countless other picks and options. I saw some people even saying that Hobbs was going to join the family once again. But who saw this one coming? After Will Ospreay went into the ring, Don Callis came out and announced who the newest member of the Don Callis family was, and it was freaking Mark Davis,
Who
y'all.
would have seen that coming?
Yeah, I did not at all
I
see
was
that.
confuzzled. I was confused the whole time. Like, wait,
Yep.
what?
Exactly.
Wait, what moment?
Exactly. And on top of that, you had a pretty dang good match, I have to say. The agile and strong Will Ospreay taking on the giant behemoth of the match when it came to Mark Davis. And Davis was really not, holding anything back. Both guys were going hard, which, you often see when it comes to wrestlers who have a background together. And on top of that, Will Ospreay is just phenomenal in everything he does. You gotta build a company around this guy. He is incredible. And Mark Davis is no slouch himself. Both guys really went hard, like we were saying. But the match goes 11 minutes. Will Ospreay gets the victory over Davis. All in all, before we get to all the shenanigans, match-wise, what do we think of this, fellas? Caesar?
I'm still kind of wrapping my head around the fact that it was Mark Davis. Like, that was not in the cards. I mean, he's been off for a bit, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. I was predicting like somebody else from United Empire, like a Jeff Cobb or hell, maybe even a TJP, somebody. But hey, whatever happens, happens. We gotta wait and see what happen forward. Match wise, I just sat back and watched because as somebody who's known somebody for X amount of years, there's gonna be a lot of moments where they could stop each other from doing certain things. If you know this person so well, you're gonna be able to predict their next move, kind of thing. So I was literally just like, this is gonna be good. It's gonna get done what needs to get done. I was more surprised that Kenny and Will didn't call out Mark to say, "What are you doing?" They just had their promo post match. So next week we'll see what happens in regards to that. Robbie?
As you guys said, that was a New Japan style matchup here there in AEW. It was purely strong style from the start to finish. For Dunkzilla and Mark Davis, he proves of why he's calling himself Dunkzilla. He can go. He can do whatever you want him to do. He's a big boy, but damn is he agile as all hell. He's got the strength, he's got the agility, he's got the speed. That and plus he got the matchup with Will Ospreay too and matched his level. I want to see more Mark Davis as it's coming out, but for what Caesar was saying too about this fifth man for the Don Callis family, I honestly didn't think it was going to be Mark Davis. I thought it was going to be Mark eventually joining Omega and Will Ospreay to take on the Callis family, but that was a big swerve. Like, I even texted in the chat, I'm like, did I miss something here? Like, what? Like, I thought Mark Davis was against Don Callis, sort of deal. And but then again, though, too, that is the art of storytelling. Sometimes in professional wrestling, it's the art to swerve someone's disbeliefs in professional wrestling. So thank you. That was a great storyline that is going to keep going and going. The suspension of disbelief as Eric Bischoff, even though he's got some stuff to say about AEW, that was a way to suspend our beliefs on that one. And can't wait to see more of what happens. And I can't wait for that tag team match against Ospreay, Omega, and Takeshita and fucking Kyle Fletcher. So let's do it. I'm ready.
Let's do it to it. And on top of that, I gotta say, these two guys had a phenomenal match, and I really appreciated all the work that went into this. I think they could have done a better job explaining the why of Mark Davis being in the family. I know they did mention it here and there on commentary, but I felt like Don Callis should have addressed this a little bit more during his promo, and the fact that, Will Ospreay wasn't there for Mark Davis like I was. I paid his medical bills, and things like that. And it makes sense when you look at it from that perspective, but I don't don't think they did a great job conveying that right away, because I saw a lot of people online and even in our chat, we just talked about this, were very confused with the reasoning behind it. And if it was kind of like that same thing where like Randy Savage joins the NWO, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, he was just fighting them. He was the first guy to get attacked by Hogan at Bash at the Beach. What's going on with that? So there's kind of that level of, okay, now that we've had it explained, it's understandable a little bit better. But yeah, I think they could have done a better job with that. But the match itself was great. And then we had at the very end of that, Kenny Omega coming down to the ringside area, and Don Callis, of course, has to flee when he sees Omega. Omega thanks Atlanta for such a great reception, and he has no clue exactly what Don Callis has on Mark Davis, but he's got people in AEW that he can trust. And Fletch and Takeshita come out, but Don Callis is holding them back. And Kenny Omega welcomes them to the ring because the future of AEW, as he says, is not on that stage, but it is right there in the ring. And we get, of course, the old-fashioned Omega send-off, which leads to way too much pyro. I guarantee that was a huge rib on Omega. And even Ospreay was having a laugh at it. But following that, we hit commercial, and when we come back, the Hurt Syndicate comes into the ring. We hurt people. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And MVP is putting the entire roster on notice, but some guys came back that we haven't seen in a while. Fade to black as we play the music. Fellas, guns up. Boom. I hope everyone watching this knows that both Robbie and Caesar did indeed put their guns up. And all in all, we had a tremendous ovation for the Guns. It was awesome to see them back. People were very happy to see Austin and Colton return. And all in all, they said, hey, it's great that you guys hurt people. That's just part of the job. And we are going to be getting a tag team title match in the very near future. I believe as soon as next week's Dynamite. Fellas, all in all, what did we think of this? Are we looking forward to Hurt Syndicate versus the Gun Club? Caesar, start us off.
So I'll be the guy to say this, and it sounds like I'm being a rage baiter or a clickbaiter, but I still keep forgetting which one's which in the Guns. I think Colton has the weird dread, doesn't he? Or the weird cornrow?
Yeah, Colton's the taller one, the lankier one.
Okay, lankier. That's a good way to specify. With them coming back, that's cool and all. I am happy to see them back, but as for them to actually win the titles, I don't see it being the first match. They'll get a match. They'll probably get destroyed. Don't know when. Probably on a Dynamite. And then they'll build up from there, because there's no way in hell they're going to give the Syndicate, 3-week long title reign? God, no. No, not even 3 weeks. Yeah, that would be the biggest middle finger to the whole faction. Maybe at a pay-per-view, like a Revolution or farther down the road, they'll give him the win. But not in the next little while. Nothing against the boys, but yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Good, they're back though.
All right, Robbie.
And as Caesar was saying, I'm gonna agree with him on this. I don't think the Syndicate's gonna lose the titles anytime soon. No hate on the Guns. Both boys, Austin and Colton, they wrestle just like their father does. You can see that both of them had that style of what Billy had back in his day and age, back in his prime. And to see those two back, they're great on the promos, they're entertaining, they're great in the ring. I'm all for it. And seeing the Guns and Hurt Syndicate, honestly, that's a pretty good contender to have. As they said, they haven't had the titles in 2 years, but they're still they're in the top 10 tag teams in AEW currently right now. Why not pair them up against the Hurt Syndicate? It doesn't matter where you're going to do it. Obviously, the Syndicate's going to win. But as for the Hurt Syndicate as a whole, I want to see their championship reign go for a good 6, 7, 8 months and have it build to where they're building to what team is going to take them out. That's how you're going to build that faction, is having these guys go through that tag team division until there's one left. And so far, the potential ones could be the ones that are holding the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I don't know if they lost yet or not, or if they're still champions or not. But I haven't caught the news from each man. But it could
I could
be
still
the
see I could see them still being the champions, Robbie, but that's just my thing. This is what I think, to actually kind of add to Robbie's situation, is if the Hurt Syndicate dropped the belts to the Guns, then I smell trios belts. That's what I'm thinking. Trios belts or double champions being like world champ and TNT champ. That's what I would say. But there's no way in hell those two guys do not deserve to not or shouldn't have gold. There we go. I cut like a weird double, quadruple negative there going. I mean, MVP can still go. What is he in his 50s? He can still go. Put the trios belt on them. That would be a better idea than Death Brothers. Sorry.
Death Riders who don't defend those freaking trios titles. You know the Hurt Syndicate would, and they'd kill it every time.
That's what I'm saying. It would be great. Especially MVP being an asshole on the mic for the faction. I'm not saying Shelty can't talk, but like,
right.
Let Shelty do his talking in the ring. Let MVP do both. And of course, let Bobby Lashley just pose.
Pose and spear. Just pose and spear. That's all he has to do.
Don't forget Crush. Don't forget that. Or sorry, Hurt. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. But anyways.
I was going to say, we're getting a Kona Crush reference in 2025. But fellas, for these next things, we got a couple segments to get through. If you have anything to say about these segments, feel free to jump on it at any moment.
I think it is. I'm excited for it, but I'll wait.
We get the video package that recapped Harley Cameron's first official win on AEW's main TV. So shout out to that. And I didn't even realize it was. I thought she already had some. But hey, the show cuts right there to Renee Paquette backstage looking to speak with Mercedes Moné. But you know what? She runs right into the real Mercedes Moné, Puppet Moné, and Harley Cameron. Cameron says she's going to be having a concert live on Collision.
Harley halftime, wasn't it?
Yep. Harley's halftime, baby. That is going to be so entertaining. I cannot wait for that. Harley has been literally, I even said this in the chat, one of the most entertaining gems for all of AEW's TV.
Like I said earlier too in the chat, she's freaking weird. I love it. I don't know. Yeah. It's like whether it's her being like completely loco or like being obsessive compulsive, but it's like let her. If she's doing herself, let her run. Nobody, any like some kind of like, okay, listen, Harley, you got to do this. Just let her go. Let her do her thing until she does something stupid. Then go, okay, listen, a little too far. But I'm excited for Harley halftime.
Yes, Harley halftime. So we're going to be getting into that very soon. I cannot wait to watch that. Like I said, she is phenomenal. And Moné is just slipping on through her locker room door, and it's like, why are you interrupting the puppet? Could we give a shout out, by the way, to Harley's ventriloquism? Like, usually whenever you see a ventriloquist, you see like their lips move slightly. I saw this last week, and I'm going to say this again for this week. When Harley's doing her ventriloquism, I do not see her lips move at all. Like, she is amazing at that. She could play music. She could do ventriloquism. She could wrestle. Like, literally, what can't she do? She is a talent. Hopefully she does soon, because we're kind of building up to something with that TBS championship.
Please
with Harley.
Put the belt on her. I don't care if it's the greatest reign in the world. The way she's been, I guess you could say, pulling our attention has been just like, it's been golden. So we'll see what happens in a week and a half. No, something like that. 10 days, 7 days,
something like that. Who knows? But hey, moving on. Hangman Page is very conflicted. We saw him last week looking for Swerve again, which is wild. We're gonna have them literally fight forever. But Hangman said to Renee that it was just a moment of weakness, and that will never ever happen again. Paquette is also going to be asking the Hangman about ending Christopher Daniels' career and if he regrets that. And Page says he doesn't feel bad, and he really doesn't regret being the one to end Christopher Daniels' career. But we don't get to hear too much more because the greatest wrestler alive, Platinum Max Caster, interrupts asking when that promo is going to be over because he wants Hangman to take out either Billy Gunn or Anthony Bowens and put either one of them or both, if he can have his way, into the hospital tonight. And quite frankly, Hangman says, I don't see either of them, but I do see you. And Caster's just running away because he doesn't want to deal with the Hangman. Cowboy shiznits, as Mr. Jim Ross, good old JR, used to say. Fellas, anything to throw out there with those promos before we go to the next match? All right, so we go. It is the Hounds of Hell, Brody King, and of course, you've got Buddy Matthews taking on Coil Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. We had a fantastic match between both of these teams, and it was so back and forth. There were so many areas where I could not tell where this match was going to go. I couldn't tell who was going to win it, and that's what I loved about this. This, honestly, in my opinion, this should have been the show opener because these two guys killed it, and they knocked it out of the park. And the finish of the match saw Fletcher and Takeshita hit double team brainbuster onto Big Brody King, with Fletcher getting a pinfall for his team. Fletcher and Takeshita get the victory, and I'm not a big fan of the fact that we had to have a loss for Brody and Buddy so early on into their kind of reset without Malachi, but I think overall this was a very competitive match, so I don't think they're necessarily losing anything by taking that loss to Fletcher and Takeshita. I just don't know if I would have had that right then and there, but all in all, fantastic match. Fellas, I want to throw this your way. What did you guys think? Robbie, start us off.
This was definitely a fantastic match between these four. I mean, Hounds of Hell, Brody King, and Buddy Murphy, Kesha and O'Reilly, who's been doing their thing. It was basically, like you said, it was back and forth the whole time. But I like the fact, though, during that match, even though we do see that time delay going on, it's the old school heel method of the music playing of Okada, but we don't see him, and it throws Buddy off. So honestly, that loss for the Hounds of Hell, we can sit and say technically they didn't lose cleanly. Buddy got distracted, and that's going to play into Buddy Matthews and Okada next Saturday. But overall, nothing much more to say about it. It was just a fantastic, fun match. It was one of those things where you just sit back, watch as a fan against two good teams.
Caesar?
So what I was referring to actually is the fact that how like the video played on the ring apron and such first, then the song plays. So it was a bit of a delay. That's what I was referring to. Yes, it did actually distract Buddy, but whatever, shit happens. And yes, it wasn't a clean victory, so I do agree with you on that one. This was probably one of those matches that it's like if you had to use the washroom, you'd say screw it, hold it in. Commercial comes and you would sprint. Like I would grab my drink of something, and I would hear like the ring or the crowd screaming, and I was pissed because you have to turn your head for 2 seconds, grab a drink, come back. Oh shit, just happened, whatever happened. So it's like I don't know. I think it would have been kind of cool to see if they replaced Coil or Takeshita with a bigger dude, like a Lance Archer, or maybe kept them, or who's the other one? Brian Cage. So it would have been two like small dudes, we'll call them, and two meats in short terms. Because that way, if Cage took the pin, whatever. Brody, taking the pin. And yeah, that double finish, we'll call it, at the end. I'm shocked Takeshi could reach because, like, I mean, Takeshi's a tall dude, but, like, Brody was, like, really high up. So, all in all, I'm almost saying now that this was the match of the night. If I had to pick out of the whole group, like, every match was good, but this one was just like you blink and you miss something. So, I don't know. What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, I wanted to say real quick, like, I agree 100%. And Robbie, you mentioned absolutely perfect use of the heel distraction, because remember, Okada is a part of the elite and he doesn't need to come out, but we've seen him time and time again go over to that production truck. He can control the video, he can control the audio. So I really like that they had that continuity there. And I do see why we did have Takeshita and Fletcher. I mean, both guys themselves are pretty big dudes as well. So it's not like it's totally out of the realm of possibility for the meat battle of sorts, which we do get in a little bit, which we'll of course talk about. But I thought overall this was a great way to get another victory leading into when we're eventually going to be getting Takeshita and Fletch up against Omega and Ospreay, because you want to build Takeshita and Fletcher in particular up as absolute monsters going into a match with the two franchise players of AEW. But Robbie, you were called upon. Any more comments on this, my man?
Aside from everything that's going to be hyping up between Buddy and Okada, I think I mentioned this in the chat, and I was like, It's a weird because we've been saying for weeks that Buddy Matthews needs to get pushed, and all of a sudden Tony Khan's putting him into a Continental Championship match like he's listening to our podcast. So that's one thing is leading up to Okada and Buddy Matthews. Okada ain't no bitch. So yes, he will be putting that title up on the line. I cannot wait to see what more opportunities Buddy's going to have through his way, and also give Brody some opportunities as a singles guy too as well. He can go as well. Give him a title run too. So let's see what else they got in store.
For sure, for sure. Well, following up with that match, we had a message being sent to the Patriarchy. Samoa Joe and Hook were hunting around for Christian Cage backstage. They find his locker room, but what they do not find is Christian nor Mother Wayne. But Kip Sabian and the prodigy Nick Wayne were in there, and a message was indeed left by attacking both Nick and Kip. Unfortunately, Christian Cage and Mother Wayne did see what was going on, but they stayed far away as Hook and Samoa Joe did what they wanted to do and walked off, as Christian Cage and Mother Wayne do go, in fact, check on their sons, but alas, too little, too late. I am a little disappointed, though, that we didn't get Shibata holding the camera yet again. But if you guys...
You mean Mr. Speak and Spell?
Exactly. But moving on there, we had everyone basically interrupting MJF. MJF comes out to discuss anything Jeff Jarrett wise. AEW stands for All Elite Wrestling, not All Elderly Wrestling, as he's going over focusing on the Triple B and wanting to take on Moxley. Max Caster runs into the ring, and we get the reunion of Max and Max. Both guys come face to face up until the Hangman makes his way in there, and now MJF is face to face with Hangman Page. Caster is gone, and Page right now is focused on Caster, so he's going to go after his primary target. And MJF is so sick and tired of everyone interrupting him, but he has another person interrupt him, and it is the legendary Dustin Rhodes. This was awesome. I'm so happy we can see Dustin on TV yet again. And Dustin, my goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire, he cuts the most intense promo, honestly, of his whole career. This might be my favorite Dustin promo. It's the my favorite that I can recall. And quite frankly, Dustin says everything along the lines of, keep Owen Hart's name out of your mouth. Make sure that you keep out of your mouth anything and everything that has to do with insulting people that have overcome and defeated addiction. And on top of that, make sure you understand that I, Dustin Rhodes, am a veteran and I'm standing up, the last of my kind, to take you on. And MJF understands where Dustin's coming from, but he responds that it took Dustin 30 years to crawl out of Dusty Rhodes' shadow, but now he is, alas, in the shadows of his younger brother, Cody Rhodes. And that is what drives Dustin completely off the edge. And now, not only have you insulted those other three important areas of Dustin's life, you have now hit onto his family, and that will not stand. And you have Dustin and MJF fighting, duking it out, and security has to run on in there and break them up, including Jerry Lynn and a security guard who looked way too much like a young Paul London. And they are breaking things up between them. MJF manages to get back in the ring just to hit a low blow kick onto Dustin, and that's where we end it there. Fellas, what did we think of this? Caesar?
That promo was heated. Holy crap. Like, once Dustin started going off, I was just like, whoo, that's insane. I feel like Max had to go backstage after and change his underwear, because holy hell, I would have shit my pants too. That was intense of a promo. Could we see a match with those two? Is there one happening? Did they announce?
It's
Yeah.
been announced for next week that it will be MJF versus Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, there's no way in hell Max is gonna play fair in this match. It's gonna be so dirty. He's gonna pull some MJF BS just to try and get the dub on this one. Am I looking forward to the match? Oh yeah, it's gonna do what it's gonna do, but it's definitely not gonna be one of those like 20-minute 10 out of 10 matches. It's gonna be one of those 10 minutes, hopefully no commercial matches, and just serve its purpose in regards to MJF being an asshole, we'll say in short. Robbie, what did you think?
For me, that was I never saw Dustin ever come out like that with a fired up promo.
So good.
Everything
That was great.
MJF said too, everything on Jarrett, everything on even Hangman, and stuff like that. We all say it every week. I always say it. MJF is golden on the mic. We don't need to dig into him. But with Dustin, that was like a promo that he has been waiting for 37 long years to cut. We're talking about the natural Dustin Rhodes who sat there and went through his addictions. He has went through multiple divorces. He was there. I'm pretty sure when Owen Hart passed away that night at Over the Edge. And then you look at everything that Dustin was there. This is what I love about professional wrestling. It's these promos that give you the realism. It doesn't just give you the character side of Dustin, but it's also giving you the real life Dustin of what Dustin really had to go through, which builds that empathy and sympathy and builds that appreciation for a legend like Dustin, who has been in the wrestling business, as we said, for 30 plus years. Hell, he was even a WCW World Heavyweight Champion to a point where we all forget that he was a World Heavyweight Champion at one point in time and held the big gold. So anytime everybody says that Dustin couldn't fill Dusty's shoes or he couldn't fill Cody's shoes, in my opinion, Dustin filled his own shoes with a legacy of 30 years that we have seen because he went his own way, and he did it. He didn't have to follow his father's way. He did exactly what he came to do, and I cannot wait to see more out of Dustin. I'm pretty sure he is retiring soon. He's only 50. He's 55. But the way that he looks every night that he's in teaming with Sammy Guevara or the Von Erichs, he can still go, honestly, for another 4 years if he wanted to.
What I was gonna say in response to that actually is like, if he's retiring soon, what the hell is Cam Shamrock doing? Is he the same age as Dusty, or is he older? Or Dustin, sorry, is he older?
They're close.
Yeah.
They're close
So
age, yeah.
if Shamrock's still going, Dustin can still go. I do agree with your number though, Robbie. 4 years, 5 years, maybe. I mean, look at who is it? Hogan's still going. Sorry, going.
Brother.
So, brother.
I mean, one of the things too is Dustin said that this was going to be his final year. Actually, no, he said last year was going to be his final year, but he could still go. And we've seen with the advancements of sports medicine how many wrestlers from the 90s and even the 80s, looking at Dustin, the natural, are still active even on a full-time basis.
If I'm being honest, and I've looked into it just out of pure curiosity, if he's doing DDP yoga, I can understand why he's still going. Because that stuff, I've watched a few of them, and holy hell, it hurts like hell, but I can see why they're still able to just function, let alone be in a ring for 5 or 6 extra years. Like, check into it, boys. It'll help you just to function.
Yeah, shout out to DDP Yoga. I just saw earlier that Bam Margera was doing some DDP yoga alongside Darby Allin, of course, hanging out, Skater Boys, and Parkour Boy himself, John Morrison, Johnny TV, Johnny Elite.
Johnny, insert name.
Johnny everything.
We already have a Johnny DSR. We already have a Johnny DSR, so we can't have two. It's only one.
Why not? Why can't we? I mean, Johnny DSR point 1 and point 2.
Wouldn't that confuse me and Robbie, though? We don't know who's the real one then.
Where's the real Sting?
I'm scared.
Hey, speaking of who's the real Sting, who's the real Mariah May? We had Mariah May on commentary, and we had a Mariah May in the ring up against Queen Aminata. I think Timeless Toni Storm played her role to perfection. This was an absolutely banger women's match, as these two would. Aminata has been fantastic within the past year, and she is showing why she is without a doubt one of the future stars of women's wrestling. But unfortunately, she is up against the current major top star of women's wrestling when it comes to Timeless Toni Storm. I can't think of a single other women's wrestler in any promotion around the world that I would put above Timeless Toni Storm. She has been literally the GOAT recently, and I will die on that hill. But these two women were basically trying to kill each other while Mariah May is staring daggers at the understudy, as she was calling her, into the ring, while Tony Schiavone was looking certain ways that Lois probably wouldn't be happy about.
Nope.
But all in all, this was a Sorry, Tony. But all in all, this was a great match, and timeless Toni Storm, playing the role of Mariah May, defeated Queen Aminata with the Mayday to get that pinfall victory. These are just mind games being played, and I loved every second of it. And after the match, Renee Paquette interviews the fake Mariah May up until the other fake Mariah May comes into the ring, and it is just, again, I can't wait to see these two women wrestling. This was a great match, but I want to see what you guys have to say about this. Robbie?
For me, as you said, Toni Storm played that role perfectly. And oh, how the tide had turned. Because we remember Mariah, she even mentioned on commentary that Mariah May had done that too with Toni Storm as well. So the roles have been switched. But however, Toni did it just a little bit better. And the match wise, though, Queen Aminata, as we keep saying, we need more from Queen Aminata. She can go. If she can go with one of the top stars, if not the top star in the women's division in AEW, give her something more. Hell, even kick her off by beating Athena at some point in Ring of Honor. Do something with her. We've been saying this since last summer about her. But now going on to this storyline, it's so personal, it's so gritty. We're finally gonna get the rematch that we all been wanting to see since Mariah May beat Toni Storm at All in London for this title. And everything Toni Storm does, it's brilliant. She swerved us all on the amnesia angle with her old gimmick. She did it perfectly with Mariah May as the glamour, which honestly, to be honest, I think she might have had a little bit more glamour. That might be a hot take there, but I think she did more glamour than Mariah May. But otherwise, we're going to keep this going. Caesar, what do you think?
So I've got two different versions of my angle, so I'll give the short version. Props to the crew in the production truck. I will say I thought it was funny that they didn't call Toni the Glamour Toni Storm. That would have been just really funny if they put that on the graphic, but they didn't. Aminata honestly should have taken the belts off of Athena like a decade ago, because well, like we're all saying, John too, probably some of our viewers that can see all of us on a weekly basis will agree that Athena should have had the belt, or Aminata should have had the belt, taken it off at Athena, and just been pushed into the main card, not upper card, but like just into like the main Dynamite era of the program. Because every match I've seen of Aminata has been like, I don't know where she came from originally, like what indies she's from, but like up here now that on AEW, it's just been great watching her matches. So please don't overuse her, but don't underuse her. I guess we'll say like tasteful amounts. Like don't put her in squash matches. Put her in like 10 to 15 minute matches that are great to watch. On the other side, the match itself was great. Seeing those two go for that while, especially seeing the glamour Toni Storm in the ring and the glamour Mariah May on the outside, taking jabs at each other essentially throughout the match, and just Toni just overplaying, over exaggerating everything involving Mariah May is just money. You know, give the girl the Actress of the Year award or some crap like that. And what I was gonna say is, in regards to their match next Saturday, got it right that time. You'd be a really messed up twist. Ready for this, guys? What if Toni came out as the glamour Mariah May, like the whole getup, and Mariah came out as Rockstar Toni, the whole getup? Could you imagine that?
It's going to be a very mind-bending match.
My brain
That's
hurt when I was thinking about that.
Rick Rude shit there.
Like, could you imagine Toni comes out, or Mariah comes out going like this and everything, and then Toni comes out doing Mariah's thing? It's like, I would be so confused. I'd be
It's
for
like
it.
Spider-Man meme at that point.
Yeah, I'd be for it, but I'd be like, guys, I'm scared. And even better it would be if they put the graphics up and Justin Roberts announced them wrong too. Just add to it. Just oh god.
Use the Dapper Yapper.
Someone finish. My head's hurting.
Yeah, but this was a very fun match, fun segments all around. And when I saw the lower third that said Mariah, I burst out laughing. That was great. And speaking of great, we had that amazing Dustin Rhodes promo earlier. We followed that up with Dustin Rhodes talking about how he has lived for the last 37, almost 40 years for the blood, the sweat, and the tears of the business. 4 decades nearly for the natural. My goodness, that is a great career for him. He's made a lot work over the years. He made Goldust work where I think any other wrestler that could have had that character would have fumbled completely, but not him. And it just goes to show how talented the natural is and why he is called that. And Dustin throws down the challenge to Maxwell Jacob Friedman for next week on Dynamite. And following that up, speaking of challenges being thrown out, it is time for the New York Minute. Hi, guys! We have the learning tree in there, and Jericho says that nobody wants Bandito in AEW, and he even has that poster from Bandito's entry from his gimmick that has $100,000 bounty on his head because Bandito is the most wanted man. And of course, we remember what the Bad Apple used to be before joining the Learning Tree. He is the bounty hunter. Brian Keith will be revisiting that bounty hunter persona, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad they have not forgotten that name or that character for Brian Keith. And Brian Keith will be taking on Bandito on Collision this Saturday. And in fact, that Jericho is going to double the amount if Brian Keith manages to secure that victory. But before we get too deep into that, Powerhouse Hobbs goes into the ringside area alongside the Outrunners, and it is just a brawl. It is just pandemonium as we speak. And speaking of pandemonium, the one thing that happens with that is things don't always work out how you might want during the carnage. Hobbs and Bill go into the ring, and they have a battle between anything you could do, I can do better. Big Bill chokeslams one of the security guards. Powerhouse Hobbs kills that Paul London impersonator, and it is time for the Meat Men to fight. They duke it out. They start rolling around through the ring to the announce table, and it felt like the announce table was supposed to break there. I don't think anything really worked out, and it kind of fell apart as the camera gets dropped in the carnage, and we went to the commercial break, which for us is going to be the end of this Dynamite discussion because we also talked all about that main event. So if you are just joining us, you can go and tune back into the beginning of the
Joining
show.
us.
But
Yes.
There's just you.
But it's just me. But fellas, I wanted to say I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to speak on anything that you have to say regarding Brian Keith and Bandito or just whatever this segment was. And I'll just start you off, Caesar.
So basically, what Jericho is saying is, if Brian Keith beats Bandito, he's going to give him his pay wage for the week, or what?
The bounty and an extra bit of the wage.
Yeah, he's giving him about $200,000. Here's your paycheck for the week. That's what you normally get for showing up. No, I'm curious to see what they'll end up doing with each other. Was it on Collision? He said, right?
Yep.
Collision.
Collision.
Yeah, because Bandito's finally back. He looks like a friggin' monster.
Right.
And Brian Keith hasn't had really many matches lately. He's always been like tags and nothing against tag matches, but it just feels like when you put someone in a tag match, it gives them like a cut of what they can do. But if you put them in a singles match, it's like, okay, listen, here's like 15 minutes. We want you to slap the taste out of each other for a bit, make it entertaining, and we'll give you more time. And that's what's going to happen on Collision this week. So looking forward to it. My question is, Robbie, what do you think?
For me, what I think here on this New York Minute edition for Dynamite was, when it comes to Chris Jericho, obviously, we already know he can cut those promos as well. He's always funny. He's always able to evolve. But I definitely feel like this time is where they're going to build him to finally lose that fucking title for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. You guys wait for me since he won it.
Did you guys see the belt this week? I didn't see it.
I didn't see a belt. I didn't see it either. But he
okay, so I wasn't tripping. I had to interject.
World Heavyweight Champion.
That's the sad
both
part.
world titles are gone.
No, I think it's an actual dick measuring contest. Sorry to cut you off, Robbie, but I think it's a dick measuring contest. You lost your belt, well, mine's gone too. It's like, anyways, Robbie, back to you. That's all I had to say.
When it comes down to it, see why you would want. See, now this is where I'll say it. Bandito is a Ring of Honor OG. That's who you should be putting that fucking belt on. So you better build all this up just for Bandito to take that belt. Because honestly, I'm gonna say that final battle, Macardona should have won that match. Macardona should be a Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion right now. Now we're getting to Brian Keith and Bandito. That's gonna be a fun match. Brian Keith is an absolute buzzsaw of a man who knows what to do. No pun intended to Tajiri, but we're gonna get a good match out of those two. Bandito and Brian Keith is gonna be awesome, and I can't wait to see the next time we'll see Redwood Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs go at it. I want to see them go at it and make it a stipulation match. I don't care what you do. I just want
Meat
to see
Mountain
them
title.
beat the hell out of each other. I just want to see them beat the hell out of each other. And then I also like the Outrunners coming on in. Give more of the Outrunners more TV time. Let them get intertwined with more major storylines as well. And that's one thing I'm liking with this whole Learning Tree storyline is they're intermingling a lot of people, multiple people that's getting waved into their web of storylines for the past 6, 7, 8 months we've had the Learning Tree. So keep it going.
And here's what I want to say too, to that point, Robbie. We have how many interwoven storylines and interwoven just characters in general on AEW right now? Because you look at the massive web of things, the Learning Tree has been involved now recently with the Death Riders. They are involved, of course, with Outrunners, Hobbs. You've got so many people, Cope, FTR, who are they themselves involved with the Death Riders. And then, of course, you've got MJF and all this, Hangman Page, who was just looking for Swerve, who is involved with Ricochet. And there's just so many interwoven storylines that it's very much reminding me. It's reminiscent of the late 90s, early 2000s WWE. And I am all for it. I think that's a lot of fun. But
see,
yeah, Caesar.
If I'm gonna interject on this one, I do agree with you on that 100%. It's the shit like that that makes us kind of, well, in this case, discuss this stuff, and it's awesome because it's like, remember that part where this happened? Hold on, but that happened with this, but that crossover with that, but that started with this, and you're like this to this to this, and it's like, wait, hold on, what the hell? Or for example, MJF started babbling about nothing. Then out came Max Caster sprinting. There was an entrance. He just came sprinting out. He took off. Then all of a sudden, Hangman showed up. Hangman stared him down. Then took off after Max. And you know for a fact, some fan who's new to the company saw that and was like, what the hell just happened? But it makes you, as a fan, go, all right, we got to podcast this shit.
So, yeah, basically.
Which now that Dustin's getting involved in main event level storylines with main event level characters, that also means we can bring in Sammy and the Von Erichs into that mix.
Yes.
So I'm all for any reason that we can get the Sons of Texas more involved in things. But fellas, this has been a great episode of AEW Dynamite, number 279 from College Park, Georgia at the Gateway Center Arena. I thought this was a fantastic show. This was a good show also if you are just recently getting into AEW and want to have an understanding of what's to come for the next several months. Caesar, you're going to say something?
I was going to say, they were chanting something earlier in the episode that, because I'm Canadian or because I'm deaf, it sounded like they were chanting like something about like ATL, but something else after it, or was I tripping out hard?
Oh, ATLians. That was when MVP had the whole
thing. It was that. I heard that. I processed that ish, but it sounded like they were saying something else later on in the show, or was it just that they were saying, but it sounded different? But I'm wondering. Like, it's not like I'm gonna lose sleep over it. I'm just kind of curious. I just thought you guys maybe I heard it.
I think they were chanting ALT or was it something like that. Whatever Chris Jericho said about the Learning Tree, where he reversed the ATL letters to fit the Learning Tree.
LT. Either way, what's done is done. We discussed the show. Now for the fun part.
Exactly. And as the fun part, we are going to be talking all about our favorite things. So let's go. Let's start us off with the jobbers of the night. And this was a real difficult one to pick because we only had 4 matches and all 4 matches delivered very much so. So I think our jobbers are going to probably have to come from all the external segments and other moments throughout the show. And quite frankly, the one that really stands out to me when it comes to a jobber is that Paul London impersonator who
Ooh.
got absolutely annihilated by Powerhouse Hobbs. That looked so brutal, and I can't believe that. And another shout out to that one that got choke slammed by Big Bill. Kudos to those guys for taking such a hard, hefty bump. All right, who wants to go next? Caesar, you're going next.
You know what? I had another jobber picked up, but because of the hilariousness of the stipulation he was involved with, I'm giving it to our boy Big Tony Schiavone. Why? Look who was beside him and him trying to keep a straight face.
Hopefully, Lois wasn't watching.
Oh, she was watching, but what I'm saying is like trying to keep a straight face and not like sneak a peek / not like burst out laughing. Tony, how could you keep a straight face? I don't know how. So that's my jobber for tonight.
All right, Robbie.
For me, my job of the night is who the hell decided to go to commercial during the brawl with the Outrunners and the Learning Tree and Powerhouse Haas. We were getting into the good stuff, man. Saw the cameraman go down. I'm like, okay, cool. Go to another camera. Nope, commercial. So that's my job of the night because I wanted to see more of that brawl and how that ended.
All right, Robbie, you're also going to start us off then when it comes to whatever your match of the night is.
My match of the night, I have to go with the main event. It's going to be Swerve, Strickland, and Ricochet. Those guys had a fun fucking match. You had Swerve getting drop kicked in midair by Ricochet. Ricochet getting his level behind with a chair to start out that match as well. The power bombs on there. It was such a great spot fest in between. Great sequence of moves. How can you not pick that for your match of the night? It's one of those things of where these guys known each other for so long on the indies that just like how Ricochet would face Osprey, it's gonna be instant magic. And I want to see more of this storyline. Get more with cut out the corniness of Ricochet and just straight on just bring that character that brings us the golden scissors out and just cuts everybody up. Just do that and we'll be fine. And I cannot wait to see the next match out of those two.
Of course. Caesar?
I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Hounds of Hell versus the Don Callis family.
Mm-hmm.
You blink and you missed literally anything. So I'm excited to see what they do going forward with the Hounds of Hell because those guys are definitely tag team contenders in the near future. Not right now, but like definitely in the near future. My question is, Neek, who are your megastars?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be looking at this is a tough one too because all four regular matches that we had on the show delivered. This was a fantastic episode. It flowed very nicely. I'm looking at Cage Matches ratings right now. We got a 10, a 9, and a 10 in right now with a very good score for this episode of Dynamite. Exactly. And I'm going to go with something very indirectly for my match, though.
Ooh.
It wasn't an actual matchup
Oh.
the normal sense. I'm going to be going with the promo battle between Dustin and MJF because you really don't expect Dustin Rhodes to really be a master of the mic and be able to stand toe-to-toe with an MJF because MJF has shown time and time again in the past how good at speaking, how good at cutting promos, how good he is at cutting a wrestler down in those promos, and the fact that Dustin, dare I say, not even stood toe-to-toe, but surpassed MJF and showed just why he truly is the veteran, the natural. I thought that was phenomenal. And again, I'm going to go very much into the perspective that was probably the greatest Dustin Rhodes promo in history. You felt everything he was saying there. But yeah, MJF Dustin, that was my match, their promo battle. But last but not least, we have our mega star of the night. And again, this is another tough one because everyone delivered. Even people that lost their matches still looked great in the end. And I think, though, if I had to pick someone that was the megastar, someone that really entertained me above and beyond anyone else, Timeless Toni Storm, being a part of Mariah May, was phenomenal. That made me laugh so hard. She is fantastic at what she does. And again, one of, if not the best female wrestler out there today. So going up next, we have Caesar.
My only thing, I said it earlier, and I said in our group chat, I feel like if Toni wants to really sell with that character of the glamour Toni Storm. She needs to turn up the attitude a little bit more because she was doing it really well, but I feel like she could have even added some more to it. Still did really well though.
Mhm.
As for my megastar, not because of what she did towards a certain person, but because everything she's done for the past while just seems like her being weird, but it's entertaining as shit. And it's Harley Cameron.
Thank
I don't
you.
know what the hell is going on behind the scenes, but like my hat's off to you, young lady,
Yeah.
or whatever. My headphones are off to you. Robbie, who's your megastar of the evening?
My megastar of the night is going to go to someone on. We don't know how many times we're going to get to say that this person is going to be a megastar of the night, and that is no other than the natural Dustin Rhodes.
Hmm.
Dustin Rhodes is what Nick said earlier in the tonight, and even I honestly think that. I think that was Dustin's best promo
It was
he
heated.
has ever cut in his whole 37 to 40-year
Yeah.
career. It dug at your heartstrings. It got you into that moment. You knew that Dustin, in a sense of the storyline, had enough of MJF talking negative on people that were drug addicts to everything else that he's been talking about that all will lead up to eventually MJF versus Jeff Jarrett as well. And Dustin has always been a good promo cutter. I don't care what people say. He got that trade from no other than his daddy, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And that's the reason why he's been in this business for 37 plus years. It's the longevity of what Dustin's been able to do. And that promo tonight was so good. It made me hyped to see Dustin come back next week and face MJF. If that match actually happens, because we know what MJF can do.
Like I said earlier, it's gonna happen, but it'll probably be a very dirty match where he does some MJF tactics. So eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled. And fellas, any final thoughts on this episode of Dynamite before we go home, close it up?
I'd say
Not
just
really.
close
I
it
mean, it's
up and go right to
fantastic.
the usual shenanigans we do because we have the whole squad here today.
Yeah.
I mean, people only get to see us in thirds, but they still get to see us.
A third of the squad. Trust us, we're here.
Thirds.
You won't see me. You only see Caesar right now, but the rest of us are here.
All the
But hey,
Canadian viewers are tuning in just for me today.
I can't believe Caesar's going over on the Dynamite recap show. This is what we built this for. But hey, if you enjoyed hanging out with us, we enjoyed hanging out with you, chat. I'm gonna get some music playing on here because this is rock and roll time. And you know what? Nah, this is more of a jam. Yes, this is that hardcore heavy metal I want for
Ooh,
us.
there we go.
Because
Perfect.
guys, it's been fun hanging out and talking about such a great episode of Dynamite. Chat, thank you for joining us. I am Nick LaRocco, and you can find me on the social medias anytime Dirt Sheet Radio is talking about Dynamite or just throughout the week, because I like to share anything and all, wrestling, Halo, you name it. So hey, if you see me on there, please give me a like, give me a follow. I truly appreciate it. Leave me a comment. I love being able to talk to you guys, but I also want to know where I can find you guys on the socials. Caesar, where are we going to find you?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for hanging out with us this evening, talking about AEW Dynamite. As always, you guys can find me on the socials, but when it comes to DSR specifically, I'm here every Wednesday with these two gentlemen and Mr. John Escudero behind the camera. But on the Monday Night Raw episode with the pro wrestling hipster Tyler, CJ every once in a while, and as well Mr. John Escudero, the Raw crew. If you're looking to talk with me on the Twitter sphere, on the social medias, I am, well, it's usually here, but it's at NoobTube. And hopefully you guys are here next week hanging out with us, and hopefully you guys are here to talk with us about Grand Slam. My question is, Robbie, where can we find you next?
For me, I also wanted to say, too, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a fantastic episode of Dynamite that we got to cover. Not going to lie, that main event's what picked me back up after a long, tiresome day, but y'all can find me. I always go ahead and I post stuff up as well. Comment on the DSR pages, either on Instagram or Facebook. It doesn't matter. You'll find me anywhere. I'm not that hard to find. You just type in my name or see my name on the DSR, and it's right there. And yeah, that's basically what it is. Thank you and good night.
Yes, and hey, again, if you liked hanging out with us, guess what? This is Dirt Sheet Radio. We are always on, and if you want to hang out in a little bit, we're going to be most likely, unless technical issues prevent us from doing so, do the flagship Dirt Sheet Radio podcast that started all of this. And hey, it's not a mistake. I truly am one of the founding guys from Dirt Sheet Radio. So again, thank you guys so much for the last couple of years, and we're also going to be on the next several days throughout the week. Of course, we'll start at the very beginning. Monday Night Raw, we have that recap show like Caesar just talked about. We also got Tuesday for NXT. Wednesday, you're already here for Dynamite. And then following that into Thursday morning, very early Thursday morning. You can listen to this either at midnight if you're a night owl, or hey, if you want to listen to it on your commute. I'm not going to tell you how to listen to your podcast during your workouts, maybe on your way to school. I don't know how old you are. Hey, just don't tell mom that you're listening to Dirt Sheet Radio. But hey, this has been fun, and we also got Thursday night, which is TNA. Matt always kills it on there. And we have Friday night Smack Sound, Friday Nick Mac John. We sometimes don't do it because who really wants to talk about 3 hours of SmackDown? But yeah, beyond that, we also, on this Friday in particular, we're going to be talking, myself, Robbie, and our friend Mac, all about WCW, and in particular, the Chi-Town Rumble from 1989, an absolute classic WCW show. I know, I can't wait to talk about this. Robbie, how much of it have you watched? Have you finished it?
I have not started because I wanted to start it tomorrow, so that way I can remember more on Friday, so that way I got it all within a 24 time span, then instead of just writing my notes, because this deserves the treatment of nostalgia. Because why? Chi-Town Rumble is one of the best WCW pay-per-views ever. So why not watch it 24 hours before we're doing it, so that way you can get some more authentic reactions of what I went down. Because it's better to remember 24 hours beforehand than actually do it and be like, oh man, I just gotta rely on my notes.
Oh, exactly. And hey, rumor has it, the following WCW shows, we might talk about Nitro or even World War III in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. And speaking of staying tuned, make sure you stick around also on Sundays when the 3NT boys will be talking anything and everything pro wrestling and more pop culture. And on top of that, we of course have CJ, Tyler, Weekend Wrestling Roundup with AEW, and if you watch that show, you will be getting a W, and you also got a W for Wednesday night because you joined us. You're a winner. You're awesome. You're not going to be able to see this because we're zoomed into the corner, but hey, I wanted to thank you personally for joining us on behalf of Caesar, Robbie, and Nick, as well as John Escudero, who is not here with us this time around. Thank you so much for joining us. There is going to be a huge winter storm hitting my way, so if you're going to be hit by the ice storm, please be safe, stay warm, and we'll see you next time.